but it's really,
We
really good.
we act tipsy enough, I think.
Who needs
We
alcohol?
don't need alcohol.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Because that's the kind of couple we are.
That is a kind of, yes, we just are high on life.
Hey, Empowered Vegan Lifers. Ella here with my co-host. Hey, Stephanie.
Hey, Ella, how are you this morning?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I have spent the last few days really just kind of testing recipes, making up recipes for our meal plans, that we do every week. For those of you who don't know, in the Vegan Life Coach Academy, a meal plan, you get a meal plan every single week. And so this week I started thinking about some new recipes.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have to cut in because you just so nonchalantly talked about, you get a meal plan. No, these are works of art, these meal plans.
Well,
Stephanie.
I try to remain humble, but I have to say, I do consider them my masterpieces. Yes.
Because you take everything into consideration. I mean, the busiest people can follow these meal plans. You make it so that it's so efficient. Not only is it healthy and delicious, but it's so efficient, these meal plans. So we cannot just brush past that fact. Okay.
Well, I base them off of what I do. I try to cook once and eat 2 or 3 times, during the week, but I don't like leftovers either. So I try to make them over, and they are efficient. They're darn good meal plans, if I do say so myself.
Yes. And the fact that people get them every single week. And some people use them, as they're designed. Some people use them for the recipes themselves. But this is just one of the many, perks of being a member of Vegan Life Coach Academy, like one of the many, many perks. So anyway, sorry to interrupt.
That's okay. That's all right. So I was thinking of some new recipes. We rotate some of the same recipes in and out because they're delicious. But I was thinking some new recipes for the holidays. And every week we have a sweet treat and also a cocktail or, special drink. It doesn't necessarily have to have alcohol. But last night I wrote a recipe for gingerbread hot chocolate.
What?
Yes. And I didn't know if it would work or not. I did put it in the meal plan without testing it. I figured that meal plan won't come out plan won't come out for another month. So I figured, I'll have time to test it and tweak it if I want to.
Yeah.
But I did test it this morning, and it is delicious. It is so yummy. And it has some good things for you in it too, besides being a delicious treat.
Oh my goodness. So is this a sweet treat or is this the cocktail?
Well, I think I put it in as the cocktail because you could add a little bit of Fireball to it and make it extra cinnamony.
It's like taking me back to college.
Right? I know. I do tend to lean on Fireball quite a bit. It's one of my favorites.
I'm sure
cocktails.
Maybe not everybody knows Fireball, but it's a cinnamon liqueur.
Yes. Yeah. A cinnamon liqueur with a nice kick to it.
Yes. Quite a kick. Quite a kick.
But I did this morning. I left the Fireball out because I figured I probably shouldn't spend, my entire day tipsy. But it's really good.
We act tipsy enough, I think.
Who needs alcohol?
We don't need alcohol.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's the kind of couple we are.
That is yes, we are high on life.
That's right. I love that. I cannot wait to try it.
Oh, it's good. It's really, really good. My son for years since he was little, he drinks hot chocolate almost every single morning. And when I went vegan and stopped buying hot chocolate mix, it was a long process to get him to accept me again, because I had to really tweak hot chocolate recipes for him to like them.
So what kind of milk, vegan milk, do you use in your hot chocolate?
So I used oat milk today. And generally that is what I use. I do like cashew milk too. The coconut milk gives it a coconut flavor, which is not always desirable. And we don't drink a lot of almond milk anymore. So, but I would recommend oat milk for sure.
I love oat milk for warm, hot, creamy beverages in general.
Me too. Yeah, no, me too.
I
my
think
golden,
my favorite.
my golden milk latte at night is with oat milk.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I love it. Well, I just booked a non-anesthetic teeth cleaning for not for me, for my dog, for Shy.
Oh, Shy.
You know, and it the last few times she's been to the vet, and it's funny because I feel like I'm getting less tough as I get older. And let me see if I can explain. Maybe less tough is not the word, because I've always been very sensitive to animals.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm less able to kind of put up that blocker these days. And my heart just feels a little more tender or raw. And it hurts a lot more thinking about different situations than it used to. And I've always been kind of sensitive, but I mentioned this to somebody. And so the way this relates is I'm just keep picturing her, and I know what they do, and they wrap them in the towel. But I just feel her being scared, and it hurts. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I can completely relate to that. Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
a lizard the other day, I saw a lizard in the bay, and it was swimming, but there was a wall. Like, it wasn't just, there weren't rocks coming up to the shore. There's a big wall, and it was a very tall wall. I couldn't reach down and help the lizard out. But I almost started like bawling, thinking about this lizard, wondering how it was going to get out of the water.
Yeah.
And there's that meme I've posted where it says something about, you're vegan when you have to stop traffic to help the worm across, or the caterpillar across the road, kind of thing, which is totally me.
Yeah.
But do you have any thoughts on that? Because I've been contemplating it.
Well, I mean, I think that as we get older, and you've hit your 40s, and I think it's like it simultaneously happens when you turn 40. You give less shits about stuff that doesn't matter, but the stuff that really does matter to you is very impactful. Wow. And of course, this would really matter to you. Even the lizard on the wall would matter to you, because that is who you are. And so it's emotionally, I think it has just a bigger effect on us, because we're focused on what's right and what's for us.
I really appreciate that perspective. Thank you.
Good. Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. That makes perfect sense, because it's so true. I have very little more fucks to give, like we always talk about,
right?
About most things. But then you're right. Those things that really matter, that truly matter, that are truly aligned with my values, what I know is meaningful in life, they're, magnified. And then the emotions that come along with those just seem to be magnified. And so, okay, that's one of the factors in the 40 Club, I guess.
It is. And it's a wonderful thing, honestly, because that if you're becoming emotional about something, that it matters. Whereas there were just, 20s and 30s, there's all kinds of emotions to, and I wish I had learned this sooner, but I'm not sure you can. I think it's just life experience and figuring yourself out a little. And
there's got to be, exactly. And there's got to be something to continue looking forward to as we get older, because other things aren't so hot. Did I tell you about this story? I'm 39, right? I'm 40 now. When I was 39, my birthday was creeping up, and I remember this moment very clearly. As most of you know, I do not have the best memory, but this was very clear. I was at the Yard House, imagine that, but with my mother. we were sitting at the bar before COVID times hit, and we're talking about turning 40, and she's kind of reminiscing. She's like, oh, you know what happened when I turned 40? I was like, what, Mom? She's like, yeah, the moment I turned 40, my ass dropped. Looked at her like with horror, like, are you really telling me that right now, Mom? Seriously? We're talking about me turning 40 and that's what you're going to share? Gee, thanks.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny, but I mean, so true.
Extra squats for me.
I know, I get it. Mine wasn't my ass, it was my boobs.
Oh.
The moment I turned 40, they were, never mind. Oh
anyway, moving right along. Oh, wow. Oh,
so funny.
Oh, you know what?
What?
Before we get into today's topic, weren't you just recently interviewed for another podcast?
I was interviewed by Morgan at Young Black Mrs. podcast, and she is fantastic. And it was so much fun to spend the day with her. So yeah, it was a great topic. We talked about giving up perfectionism as you transition to a vegan lifestyle, and talked about how people can make a big impact and live in line with their values. And it was a great episode. I think it's going to be a great episode, but it comes out on November 19th. So
that'll be 2 days.
Yeah.
But yeah, once this comes out on Tuesday, that'll be 2 days away. So we will have to post that in our Empowered Vegan Life group.
Yes,
because absolutely. I don't think we won't have the link yet, probably, to post in the show notes.
No, probably not. But we'll post it in the Empowered Vegan Life group. And if you go to her, I think it's a website. I think
we can put that in the show notes.
Website. We'll put that in the show notes. But I'm giving a free meal plan for her listeners.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So get a little taste of it. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I cannot wait to hear. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to hear it too. It was a great conversation, and she's wonderful. I mean, she just is so full of energy, and she has such a fun podcast. She talks about what she shakes her curls at, and then she has a segment on food and enjoys talking about food. And then from there, it's a really fun podcast.
How fun is that? All right. Well, cool. Well, let's dive in. What do you say?
Let's do it. Yeah.
All right. So I want to first, in Vegan Life Coach Academy, and for you guys, we will put the link to join the wait list, because we don't open those doors up very often. But if you get on the wait list, you'll be the first to know. But in Vegan Life Coach Academy on Mondays, we have Mantra Monday. And Stephanie is queen of Mantra Monday. And I love what you wrote. I think this was just maybe last week. And it was, you wrote, today, take some time to think about what you have been carrying that has simply become too heavy. It is time to let go. Let go of expectations, self-judgment, anxiety, and loneliness. It's time to take a deep breath and enter into this week with the intention of letting go, so that there's room for your growth and the new that your efforts and the universe are bringing to you. That was you. That was you talking. So many things to let go of, right? So let's break it down, because it's too big a topic, I think, to go over letting go of everything that doesn't serve us. So
yeah, absolutely.
What do you say we focus on relationships today?
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
Because we had one member comment right away when you wrote this, and she said, "Thank you. I'm letting go of friendships that don't serve my best self."
Yeah.
And then another member said, "Ooh, I've been there." It seemed to really resonate with other people. This one said, I've been there. I found this to be so hard when going through it, and utterly liberating afterwards, sending you strength. And then another one said, I've been there too. It's such a painful place to be. And it has taken me a very long time, especially to accept how such a deep affection could be transformed into something else. Comprehension, jealousy, and hatred at times. I am not sure I've reached a place of forgiveness yet, but at least I don't feel so sad anymore.
Mm. Mm.
So yes, what do you have to say about letting go when it comes to relationships, Stephanie?
Well, I think that there are so many reasons that we hold on to relationships that don't serve us. I think that we have that loyalty, we have history with people. And when we're talking about specifically about friendships, sometimes our friendships aren't really formed based on our values. They're formed based on our activities or proximity, or there's a lot of different reasons to form a relationship, but sometimes or a friendship, but sometimes you just don't necessarily think about what this relationship is bringing to you, both negatively and positively. You just kind of fall in, and there you are. So yeah, I can definitely relate to all of this too. That sometimes it's hard to let go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And for me, I feel like it's all about energy.
Yeah.
And when I remember getting to that place where I felt my energy shifting based on the work that I was doing, the inner work that I was doing. And when I started to see the world differently as well,
Mm-hmm.
then I started noticing that my energy wasn't aligned anymore with the people some of the people that I was spending my time with.
Yeah.
And I know when we start to talk about energy, it can start to seem kind of like woo woo, like, oh boy, here we go, the whole
Right.
vibes, vibrations and all that weird stuff. But, when I started studying the quantum physics and really getting in tune with our energetic world, because everything really is made up of energy, it's not woo woo when you see the science behind it. And that's what it took for me to kind of get out of that headspace of, oh gosh, I'm going to put up a wall when somebody starts to be a weird yogi kind of thing. Like,
Right.
Let me not get into that category and be stigmatized because I'm vegan, that I have to be weird, kind of thing. I was extra careful about that. But that's before I really got in tune with that whole side of life. And it really is that shifting of energy, and then you feel that that lack of connection.
Yeah.
You can really feel that. And you can also feel, or I could feel, the negativity, the negative energy so much stronger when my energy shifted to something so much more positive.
Yeah.
The higher vibrations. It's really, really true. And I just remember, kind of slowly moving away. It wasn't like a cut off, because nothing changed. Nothing really had changed in terms of who those people were. It was me who was doing the changing.
Yeah.
And I had to really take notice of that and make a conscious choice to start kind of backing up, taking a step back, saying, you know what, this energy that I have, I'm liking where this is going.
Mm-hmm.
And I can feel that other energy kind of battling with it and bringing my energy down.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And that wasn't okay with me anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it was hard. It was really hard. But my friends now, many of them are not the same friends I had 5 years ago, 10 years ago, for that very reason.
Yeah. Yeah. I keep my circle pretty small. I'm very introverted, and I have relationships that I have had for years, but have always kept at arm's length because of that. Because of that energy that it takes for me to socialize anyway, but then also on top of that, be sucked by people that aren't necessarily people that I want to be around all the time. um, you know but I think that it's really, really difficult to give up those long-term relationships, and so sometimes you need a little visualization to go along with it. And mine in the past has been letting go of a balloon.
Mm.
and how it's still beautiful. The friendship was still beautiful, but it required me letting go and watching that balloon. Or you can also visualize, a flower on the sea, allowing the flower to remain beautiful for what it was, and then drifting away from it. And I think that those types of visualization to go along with looking at your energy is I think it's helpful.
Yeah, you know what? I just thought of, letting go and releasing are very similar,
Mm-hmm.
but they drum up kind of a different I don't know how to call it exactly, but it seems that letting go is almost an action that you have to take. It seems like something that could be effortful,
Mm-hmm.
whereas releasing is almost an inaction. It's almost a something you don't have to do.
Yeah.
Does that make sense
Yeah, you just
at
have to
all?
open. It's just like you just have to open your hands, and that's about it. But
And that was
I
my
think you're
word of the
right.
year.
I remember.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember.
I just realized that. Releasing. When I say the word release, I feel my physically, my stomach kind of release a whatever knot I might not have even been aware of. Right.
Right.
It also helps me take a deep breath when I say the words release. For me, that word resonates a little more than letting go.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
what it's
I
all
love
about,
that.
finding what resonates with you, what helps you take that in action or inaction.
Mm-hmm. No, I think you're right. I think you're right. I think that sometimes it is an active process. I mean, you really have to engage with the process, whereas sometimes it really is just a matter of loosening your grip.
Mm, so
And
true.
yeah.
Wow.
So.
Wow. I remember growing up, when my parents were still together, they got divorced when I was 14. My mom had on the refrigerator a quote, and it was, letting go is the key to happiness.
Mm.
And what's interesting is that she's spiritual, not religious. My dad really adopted the Buddhist teaching.
Right.
And, the Buddhist teaching is all about unattachment,
Mm.
which is
Yeah.
just another form of letting go and releasing. And I go back to that quite a bit. And as I get older too, I, contemplate death a lot more. And you think about friendships like we were just talking about that don't serve you, and patterns that don't serve us,
Mm-hmm.
and how much of that really is related to attachment.
Yeah.
And that's the root of suffering in the Buddhist teachings,
Mm.
attachment. And it just makes perfect sense.
It really does. Although I have to say that has been a really difficult thing for me.
Oh yeah.
Um, as it is for most people. But one of the things that I love most about myself is that I'm incredibly loyal.
Mm.
But that can be very diametrically opposed to being unattached and being, and releasing and letting go of friendships that don't serve you, relationships that don't serve you.
Oh
So,
wow. Yes, that
yeah,
adds a whole layer.
it really, really does. It really does.
Because we're not saying loyalty is a bad thing.
No, it's a very, very good thing.
It is a very good thing.
But at times it can be a hindrance to, growth and happiness, for sure.
Mm. Wow, this is deep.
It is deep. Knew we were going to get this deep today.
I didn't either. But we can talk about attachment in so many different ways. Attachment to things,
Yeah.
to material goods. So when we're doing that spring cleaning and saying time to clean out the closet, and I still have clothes from high school. Are you serious? Do you have any clothes from I still have clothes from high school. Is that ridiculous?
Well, I think that there are very few women that can say that, very few men that can say that. Because I know I am not the same size I was in high school. So those clothes are long gone, long gone.
Yeah. Still. And some of them should have been should have been tossed a while ago, not because they don't fit. I really am the same size. Of course, I only have had fur babies. I will throw that out there, which is helpful, but because they're so ratty. And so they're so ratty. Oh my goodness. But that's, that's something that I use now, is going back to that. When I go to clean out that closet, I had a tough, much tougher time in the past. But now I say, why am I attached to this? And then I do the whole sparking joy thing.
Do you really?
Oh yes. Marie Kondo. I think she's onto something with that, because that helps you decide whether that attachment is healthy enough to allow it to dictate your decisions or not. Because if something doesn't spark joy and you're attached to it, what's that about?
Yeah, well, that's something to definitely consider. I have tried the Marie Kondo method and sparking joy, but it just gives me a lot of anxiety. And I don't have a ton of stuff, but what does that say? What does that say?
I don't know. What is that anxiety about?
I don't know.
Should we break into a coaching session right now?
We probably should.
I think we're going to need a whole episode for that one.
We need a whole episode for my anxiety and cleaning the clutter.
Interestingly, you're an introvert, but you're also type B.
I am an introverted type B. Yeah.
And I'm an introverted type A.
Yeah.
And Anne, who was on last week, is an extroverted type A. She is all out there, man. She is something else. I love my Anne. But
oh my gosh. Yeah. No, it's amazing that we're a couple, because who knew? We probably wouldn't have necessarily. I don't know. How did we even meet? I'm not even sure.
What's our how did you meet story?
Yeah.
There might be people watching today that don't get, or listening today that aren't getting what this couple thing is all about.
Right.
And that's okay. Yeah. I think you know what? More reason to go back and listen.
Absolutely.
To all the previous episodes.
Start from the beginning.
So you can learn our couple story.
Absolutely. It would be a good weekend project for people.
Exactly, especially as the weather gets colder. And I know Tammy was, those of you who don't know Tammy, she is one of our amazing coaches at Vegan Life Coach Academy. Yeah. And she has guest co-hosted a couple times here on the show. But she said her husband was in Kansas City the other day, going through for work. Yeah. And she's like, oh, it's so beautiful there. And he's like, yeah, but it's 30 degrees or something like that. And they live in Southern California, so that wasn't going to work for them either.
Oh, well, I didn't know he was in Kansas City. I should have brought out the welcome wagon.
Is that your special treat?
This is my special treat. I'm still sipping on it.
You guys who are just listening, we do have a YouTube channel where we post the videos here. Yeah. So let's see that. I want to yum.
Well, this is my cup, and it's all messed up because I put on lipstick for the YouTube
for the YouTube, yes.
I don't do much, but lipstick is easy. But yeah, I don't know. Can you see it?
A little bit.
It's kind of messy.
Yeah.
And I didn't have toppings, and I didn't make it pretty, but it's really, really good.
Speaking of toppings, is there a vegan whipped cream recipe? Do you have one?
Recipe?
I know there's vegan whipped cream. I'm just wondering if you could actually make it out of nuts. Are there any vegan whipped creams store-bought that are not made from oil?
I don't know. I don't know any of those questions.
We're going to have a discussion.
I'm sure there are recipes. I know there are recipes for vegan whipped cream. I haven't looked that deeply into that. I don't use whipped cream a whole lot.
Neither do I.
So,
but the holidays are coming. And, You know what would be a great little recipe book?
What?
While you're at it.
Tell me.
Plans. What about holiday or winter hot beverages?
I think it's great. I have now created two. Two. I can't claim the other one because I borrowed that recipe, or I adapted it for our purposes, which was a pumpkin spice latte.
Mm,
That was amazing.
mm.
But I have created two, one being a pumpkin toddy.
A toddy.
A toddy.
What's a toddy?
Well, it's like an alcoholic hot beverage.
I didn't
It's
know
really
about this
good.
toddy thing.
I know. I think it's a not pumpkin, apple hot toddy, that was really good.
That's a fun
And
name.
now this my
A hot
gingerbread
toddy.
a hot toddy. Yeah.
I think that's a good nickname. I think you're a hot toddy.
Well, I think you're a hot toddy.
I want to know if anybody else has not heard of a hot toddy, but oh my God, I am so calling you a hot toddy now.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Hot toddy.
Hot toddy. I think it's a very old-fashioned drink. It's a hot toddy.
All right, we're going to explore this.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a little off track there at the end, but it's totally relevant to the season we're in. So I think it was all very important.
I do too. I think it's all important.
Yes. And what's very important is our next episode as well. I'm not going to give it away, but we've got a treat coming for you guys next week.
All right. I love treats.
All right. Anything?
Treats.
Yes. Special treats. We are full of special treats.
We are special treats just ourselves.
You hot toddy.
Oh my gosh.
I love you.
I love you too.
And I love all of you watching and listening to us today. All right, you guys, we're going to wrap it up there. Thanks for joining us. If you like what you're hearing and you haven't yet left us a review, if you could do that real quick, take you just a few seconds, we would really appreciate it. It really helps us out. And of course, share this with your loved ones, with your friends, with your family. We've got a little bit of everything for everyone here.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, until next time.
Until next time.